After a week on location for a shoot, I hadn't been to the shops, leaving my fridge pretty empty. I grabbed a last of a block of pancetta that had been in there for a month or so, then got it chopped up. I was thinking carbonara at this point, so I got the pancetta into a pan with some oil to slowly render and crisp up. At this point, I clocked I didn't have any parmesan or pecorino, and carbonara doesn't really hit with any other cheeses. To pivot, I grabbed some garlic that had started sprouting because it was getting so old, removed the sprouts as they're quite bitter, then got it chopped up. Garlic and pancetta work super well together, so I searched for an appropriate starch. I was thinking I could make a wet polenta around the flavors and bits in the pan, but then I saw some orzo. I tipped it into the pan, added water, salt, pepper, and the rind from an old piece of cheddar I had in the fridge to add a funky depth. While the orzo simmered and cooked, I had to think about how to use up some of the other floppy bits I had in the fridge. My cavallonero was super soft and on the edge of food waste, but it gave me an idea. I thought maybe I could stuff them with the pasta mix. This would make the most of their natural floppiness. I chopped up a couple of bags of old herbs, then once the orzo was nearly cooked and looking super thick and claggy, I tipped them in. To thicken the mix some more, I grated in cheese, gave everything a taste and set the pan aside to cool slightly, which would firm up the filling a little bit more. Before stuffing cabbage leaves, I like to shave down the stalk to help them roll a little better. I thought the same could apply with my cavallonero. At this point, most people blanch the leaves in a pot of water, but I just covered with boiling water from the kettle and set them aside to cook a little. I wasn't too worried about the leaves discolouring because cavallonero has so much chlorophyll in it, which keeps it super dark and green. I now needed to make a quick tomato sauce for the leaves to be baked on, which was an issue as I didn't have any tin tomatoes. I did have a jar of beans in tomato sauce though. I saw an opportunity for body and creaminess here, so I tipped them into a container along with a generous splash of water, salt, pepper, sugar and tomato paste for a darker colour. I whizzed until smooth and creamy, gave it a taste and knew the acidity would cut through the starch and cheese really nicely. Once the leaves were soft, I drained them off, laid them out, loaded on the bacony, garlicky, cheesy filling, then carefully rolled them up. I tipped the sauce into a baking dish, popped the cavallonero rolls on top, drizzled over plenty of really nice oil, covered with foil and got them into the oven. Once all the ingredients had got to know one another, I plated up, grated over plenty of cheese, drizzled over more nice oil and got stuck in. This was genuinely one of my favourite fridge raids to date, an impressive meal from nothing but scraps and a few store-cupboard items.